Hello, I'm Alice, and welcome to my weekly Meltdowns breakdown of The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 3, entitled Thank You. And I know why AMC titled this episode Thank You, because they're thanking me for not killing someone after this episode. So before I even get started, I just wanted to address something really quick. 2 weeks ago, I got reamed multiple new ones, or ripped rather, for my meltdown in reference to Uverse going out not once, not twice, but 5 times during the premiere episode. And there were a lot of very concerned, very sweet, loving, caring people who had some life advice for me when this happened. I was told 3 things. 1, I need to get a life. 2, it's just a TV show. And 3, these people aren't real, so calm the F down. I just find it kind of ironic that the people that went out of their way to be mean to me were the exact ones being as mellow, frickin' dramatic as humanly possible all over Facebook. And not only that, they were the ones that were ruining it for everyone else who didn't know what happened. So I just have 3 things to say to these people. 1, get a life. 2, it's only a TV show. And 3, these people don't really exist, so why don't you calm the fuck down? Okay, so the episode starts out, the horn is still blowing, and they're running through the woods, and Rick decides, I'm gonna split the groups up again. I love it so much when they split the groups up on the show. AMC, please keep doing it. So Michonne and Glen are in charge of babysitting, and Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham are going to stay the course and keep doing what they're doing, and Rick is going to run all the way back to the makeshift wall, and he's going to grab that RV, and he's going to redirect all the walkers, the stray ones, in the same direction or whatever that the other herd that Sasha and them are in charge of. So before Rick sprints off, he pulls Glen and Michonne aside and he's like, look, if you can't save, don't worry about it. Seriously, just whatever. We're good. We'll make it. You make it. Just as long as you make it. But don't lose any sleep over it. It's totally fine. We're going to be okay. If one comes back with you and that person's not injured, that'll be a gosh damn miracle. And if you've noticed, we don't have many miracles around here. So while all this is going on, we've got 2 complete pusses on board. We got a guy named Sturgis running around in a little rain hat, and then some no-name puss who just freaking sits around and does nothing but blames Rick and probably everyone else, let's be honest, for all the problems in his life. So while No Name Puss is running around, running his little mouth, bitching and moaning, he gets attacked by some walkers, and Michonne and Rick have to put him down. And then the horn stops. It just stops. And Rick's like, oh, the horn stopped. Good. Nobody's even worried that it's gonna start up again. Why, if, and where, nothing at this point. So all hell is breaking loose, and Heath and Michonne and Glen are taking care of everything per usual. And this little puss baby, Sturgis, in his little rain hat, just starts popping off his gun when Rick clearly said earlier, don't use your guns unless you absolutely have to. This group does not listen. They do not listen. Sturgis ends up popping Scott in the back of the leg right under his ass with his gun and then flails off like the little bitch that he is into the forest. This guy named David gets bit in the back while trying to help. At least he tried. And Annie, she tried, but I think she just threw in the towel and faked that fucking fall because that is the worst. Let me go in. I'm going to tell you right now. That is the worst sprained ankle limp I've ever seen in my entire life. The walkers limp better than walkers with missing limbs limp and walk better than that shit she was trying to pull off. So anyway, everyone decides, hey, we're in this little town. We're going to let Nicholas lead us around. When are these people ever going to learn? Like, seriously, I mean, it just... So they end up in a pet shop. And they're, patching up Scott and Annie's fake-ass sprained ankle. And Heath is giving Michonne some major attitude. He totally heard what Rick said about save who you can, and if you can't, what the fuck ever. Like, Michonne basically pulls Heath to the side and yells at him for about 10 minutes. And she says to him, have you ever been covered in so much blood? Oh, wait a minute, let me do it. Let me whisper yell. Have you ever been covered up in so much walker blood that you didn't know if it was your blood or their blood or your friends? Psst, I didn't think so. Move on. So anyway, this guy David is gonna die, and he goes on this whole thing about his wife Betsy and how he writes this little letter and he tries to give it to Michonne. Michonne's like, look, you're gonna make it home. And you know how I know that? Because I'm gonna take an ink pen and I'm gonna write it on myself and I'm gonna show it to you. And that means it's real and it's gonna happen. In the midst of all of this, Glen is like, look, I got some flare guns. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna find an abandoned building. I'm gonna burn it. And I'm going to create a diversion. And Michonne's like, no, we're not leaving without you. You have a wife. And he's like, well, I have a wife. That's why I'm doing it. And then Nicholas just like a whack-a-mole just pops up and goes, hey, I know of a feed store. Let's go to that feed store. Or I could just draw a map. So since this show is built on the Olympics of stupidity and bad decisions, Glen decides to take Nicholas with him. Instead of letting him draw a map, he's like, yeah, come on, I'm just going to continue to give you all these chances because you're doing such a good job. And what could possibly go wrong if I let you come with me? I have no idea what could go wrong. So after they leave, Michonne hears this scratching or something. Everyone hears it. And she finds two walkers inside. And she ends up killing them loudly. Loudly. Normally she kills quietly with that fucking samurai sword. But for some reason this time, she went balls deep in loudness. So basically, the walkers hear it. Scott and Annie are like, leave us behind. We're going to slow you down. And Heath and Michonne are like, no. And David's like, no. We're going to go out. And they go out guns blazing. Swords is swinging. And Annie turns around and she's like, go. Get the fuck out. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to sacrifice myself. So what does everyone do? They're like, okay, go ahead. We don't have a problem with that. We're actually going to stand here for a minute and verify that you're dead and you're slowing them down. We're going to waste about a good 6 seconds and just watch you get mauled and not even mercy kill you. We're not even going to give you a mercy bullet. We're just going to sit here and we're going to watch. So after they verify that poor Annie is dead, they make it to this fence. And Heath goes over first. Then Michonne and David are trying to go over at the same time, but the walkers are pulling at him. And finally, Michonne gets over, but David, he doesn't make it. And neither does the note, which is just sitting there. And if I were Michonne, I'd probably feel really shitty that I didn't take the note. But then again, why should they feel shitty? Because once again, they're going to stand there and watch someone die, a slow, painful, being ripped apart by walkers death, and not even give the guy a mercy sword to the head. This floors me every time. Okay. But still, you know, it's just Heath and Scott, because they got Scott over, and Michonne. So they end up making it, actually. And they make it to a creek, and they get across, and they talk about how it's going to slow them down and all this. And Michonne's looking for smoke because Glen said, you'll know I'm okay when you see the smoke, or if I'm not okay, I'll send a signal. I'll find a way to let you know. And she's looking around, and she's got that feeling that something ain't stirring in the Kool-Aid. Meanwhile, Heath is looking in the river at his reflection and the blood on his face, and I guess now he just thinks that he's in the cool kids group since he's got blood on his face. No. So meanwhile, way back in the pet store when Glen was there, he got Herschel's watch out and some things out of his backpack and got on the walkie-talkie and told Rick what he was doing and where they were. And good luck, dumbass. Now at this point, Glen and Nicholas have made it to the feed store. Someone beat them to it. It's already been burned. And they've got walkers coming at them left and right. But they have enough time to stop and let Nicholas put down and mercy kill. Did you hear that, Michonne and Heath? Mercy kill a poor 19-year-old kid from another group that he was in that he totally fucked over. But they have time to put this guy down. So anyway, back to what they were doing. They're dodging walkers left and right. And they end up in this alley. And they're fighting them off diligently. They're shooting them. They're doing whatever. And what's his name? Nicholas, throughout this episode, keeps having these moments where he freezes up. It's kind of like PST or whatever they call it. Well, they end up on top of this dumpster. And Nicholas is having one of his moments where he's freaking out. And Glen is trying to get his attention like, dude, man the fuck up. Look around. We got shit to take care of. And Nicholas looks at Glen and says, thank you, pulls the trigger, blows his brains out, falls into the herd of walkers, and takes Glen down with him. I took a minute after the episode was over, because I was speechless, to actually document exactly what I was feeling and everything at the time. And I'm going to show it to you. But I feel different now. I'm going to tell you why. But at the time, I'd only seen the episode once. Now I've seen it multiple times for this. But here is my take on it. Glen just died. Seriously. Like, he's really dead. We're in shock. We need a minute. What the fuck just happened? What just happened? Like, I can't even I don't even know. Glen's dead? How is Glen dead? Right, Finley? How is he? Even Finley's, he didn't even know. Like, he doesn't know. He's trying to find, he's trying to figure it out. We can't figure it out. He's dead. Or it could be Nicholas on top of him. No, he's dead. I can't. He's dead. Okay. He is. No, he is. I know we're all, like, right now, it's like we're trying to go through these scenarios in our heads right now that he's not dead, but he's dead. He's freaking dead. All right. I'm going to bed so I can do my vlog tomorrow, and just can't believe he's dead. Goodbye, dumbass. I don't believe anymore. I don't believe Glen is dead. I believe that Nicholas Dickless, he probably is Dickless now, but I believe that Nicholas the Dickless is on top of Glen, and he's the one being gutted and ripped apart, and Glen is just screaming in shock. And I think he rolls under the dumpster, something happens that he gets away. Because I don't feel that a veteran of the show would be killed in such a way that it just sucks. Why would you kill him like that? He's a staple of the show. He's one of the greatest characters on this show, one of the most beloved characters on this show. So therefore, I do not believe that Glen is dead. Plus, if you read the comic books, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm saying without saying it. We now come to Rick, who is running like crazy running. Like I've never seen anyone run. This guy is running with a machine gun on his back. He is hauling ass to this RV. He might just be pretending that RV is me. Who knows? Could be. Okay, anyway, so he comes across 3 walkers, and he gets his knife out, and he stabs one of them, and the knife breaks, and one of them has a machete hanging out of his shoulder. So he grabs that machete, and I think he cuts himself on it, on his left hand in the process, because this is your left hand, and he hits the walker, kills the other one, and he starts doing it like he's really, really hurt himself. But he keeps on going. Why? Because he's Rick motherfucking Grimes. That's why. So he makes it to the RV and he gets on the walkie and he lets Sasha and Daryl and Abraham know, hey, look, I made it. All is good. We're going to get this going. Meanwhile, Daryl has already told Sasha and Abraham, look, I got faith in you. I got to go back to Alexandria and I've got to help these people. I just don't think that they can do it themselves. So he is actually hightailing it back to Alexandria while all of this is going on. Meanwhile, Rick is trying to get everything together in the RV, and boom! The wolf from last week's episode, or the week before's episode, that Morgan let get away with the gun, shows up and shoots at Rick. I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000,000 times. Jesus, we'll get to that at the end. But this is nothing because Rick pops that guy off. Another guy comes in, takes care of him, finds some baby food in the guy's pocket, freaks him out a little bit. He looks in the window and he sees a bunch of others coming. So he gets his machine gun out and he just starts shooting from inside the RV. And that's it. He gets back up front and he tries to start the RV. And it won't start now. Now, I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm thinking maybe he shot something that had to do with the gas guy. I don't know, but something happened or it could have been when the wolf guy shot inside, it fucked up the starter. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert. So crazy Rambo Rick is stuck in the RV and the noise has attracted the herd was already on its way, but now it's really on its way. So he's stuck. He is stuck in the RV, kind of like he was stuck in the tank in season 1 at the end of episode 1. Kind of like, Glen called him a dumbass. And Daryl, I'm not sure. I'm kind of confused. If someone can explain this to me, Daryl is on his motorcycle, and I think he hears the gunshots because he says repeatedly, Rick! Rick! He even pulls over to the side and goes, Rick! And the next thing you know, he's meeting back up with Sasha and Abraham, who ain't scared and are leading the herd. And that's that. I did like the exchange between Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl when Daryl was making the decision to go back to Alexandria. They're like, we can't stop you, but you may kill us or hurt us if you leave. And he's like, well, I've got faith in you that you can handle this. And at the end of the day, they totally did handle it. But I did like how Sasha whipped at Daryl when Rick said, I'm bringing him your way. She goes, did you hear that, Daryl? Rick's bringing him our way. Okay, so here's my tangent real quick. I know, too late. I have said it once. I will say it a million gosh dang times. If you don't kill someone, if you don't get rid of the threat, if you don't cut off the head of the snake, it's going to come back around and bite you. Morgan let those people go. They had a gun. They found Rick in the RV, and now look what's happening. I mean, I can't make it any clearer than that. And then if you look at, what's his name? You look at Dickless and you look at Glen. Would they be in this situation right now? Would Glen have Nicholas on top of him right now? I mean, what would happen? If he had, Glen is not the kind of guy that's going to kill somebody. But if he had told the truth then and let them do what they needed to do, maybe the situation would have been different. What if Glen had gone with Rick? You never know what can happen. But the art, I love the show. I am a fan of the show, for those of you who wonder. But it does kind of get on my nerves how every time they let someone go or something happens, dude, they come back every time and we are shocked every time. And we got to knock it off. We're enabling them. We're enabling them. Next week, we get a 90-minute episode dedicated to Morgan's journey. Now, a month ago, a year ago, I would have been excited about this, but lately, everything concerning Morgan, to me, feels like a tampon commercial. I mean, what are they going to show us for 90 minutes? This is how Morgan grew her vagina, and this is how he had it removed. Don't get me wrong, before you even start hating me, I love Morgan just as much as you do, but I am frustrated. I am very frustrated. I feel like Morgan is stuck in between Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. And it frustrates me just enough that he needs to pick which way he's going to go. And hopefully they will show us, what happened to his son and all that stuff. But anyway, that'll be a whole... that might be the drinking show. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a whole week away. In the meantime, I have a great idea. Why don't you subscribe to My Weekly Meltdown on YouTube and go like My Weekly Meltdown on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram, the.memphis.darling on Instagram, just said that, and on Twitter, @Summers, SOMMERS 1977. I have to say, I've loved all 3 episodes. This show can't go anywhere but down at this point, and it will only get better. I really feel it will. And I hope everyone is having an amazing week, even though it's only Monday or whatever, and you're all doing what you were meant to be doing in this life, and you're all happy. And I'm so glad that you all took the times out of your life to watch this episode of My Weekly Meltdown. Again, I will be back next week. And in the meantime, why don't you join some really cool Walking Dead groups? There's one called the Walking Dead Virus, the Dead Talk, the Walking Dead Rejects. These are all really good groups, and they post a lot of stuff. And I have to say, a lot of these groups, they didn't spoil it last night. They were really cool. They kind of held back and opened up threads until after the episode was over. So go look up these groups, the Walking Dead Virus, Walking Dead Talk, Fear the Walking Dead, and the Rejects, and all of them. They're really, really great episodes. Jesus, groups. I've had enough, and I know you guys have had enough of me. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I will leave you with this one question. When exactly do you think Glen will come back? Do you think he'll be back before the mid-season break? Or do you think they will bring him back before the season finale or this season at all? Send me a message and comment on this post. Have a good night.